name is Beck, and you're the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And it's another day. It's another bunch of articles saying we hate the BBC, and specifically why we hate the BBC, juxtaposed with another article saying we hate Doctor Who, but not Jodie Whittaker. It's not her fault. We really don't like Chris Chibnall. It seems to be the national narrative. And it's not good. It's not good to be caught on the wrong end of the national narrative. Even if it's one that's like insisted upon by the media, who I really don't trust at all. Speaking of not trusting the media, if you, like me, prefer to have some independent voices out there in the media, like myself, if you can hit the like button, that'd be great. If you can hit the share button, that's really, really good. I think it's kind of really well known that big tech has a narrative they want to ascribe to, and these are the things you need to do to let them begrudgingly use a platform. Thank you very much, YouTube, for letting me stay on. By the way, hit the subscribe, that'd be fantastic, and please comment on the videos. Let me know what you think. I try to respond to all the comments. Just so you know, I get the feeling my channel's being scanned, looked at very, very carefully by YouTube right now. And I may well be offline for a week or 10 days. They are doing a forensic check on everything. I could possibly get in trouble for. I am intending to start up a second channel. I'll put it in the links whenever that's done. But just be aware. I mean, listen, things are getting a bit spicy out there. I think, especially as we head towards the 20th, which. Listen, I live in another freaking continent from America. I'm still hiding under my table at that time, and I would recommend everybody else does that wherever they are in the world. So what's going on in the world? I would say, and this is what these articles are reflective of. We've been in a cultural war for quite some time. I think we're in a cultural Cold War, and it just looks like it's about to flare up into an actual real war. But I think this is indicative of it. Before we go forward, please check my sign up from Indiegogo. It's absolutely coming out in the next few days. I got the printers sorted out. We're just trying to work out pricing. Go add your email list to the sign up to the email list. Go and sign up your name. Okay, I worked it out now. And here's what I worked out. What I want you to do: go and add your email address to the sign up list, so you can be informed when it does launch, and you get little bonuses, little goodies when you do that. There's for these two. Over here. These two graphic novels, which are freaking awesome, and you get one of these for the male gaze art cards with any purchase if you join it, unless you buy the package, you get all four anyway. In that case, you get a fifth chaser card, absolutely free, because I am so pathetically grateful. You know who's not pathetically grateful? Grateful? The media. The media is not pathetically grateful for the incredible power that they've been given. And I think they kind of squandered it, right? Which has gone a long way to saying the world is going to fundamentally change, whether it be BBC going or the end of Western civilization. Either way, I think that might be what we're saying. So let's read this first article here. Beaver from the Telegraph. BBC culture must be rebuilt to avoid liberal groupthink, says new chairman. To avoid it? That's like saying, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an analogy. You can't avoid it. You're already there. You are, ground zero for liberal groupthink. Richard Sharp, I guess that's the new controller. That's new chairman. I say Richard Sharp points the finger at question. I'm saying the programme had more Remainers and Brexiters in the run-up to referendum. Do you mean there was some kind of bias in their reporting? I honestly, for the last 5 years, I think we've seen a breathtaking drop in the importance of mainstream media, especially mainstream news media, because it's not it's not really hidden that they have a very, very strong bias. Listen, I've known about this all the time, and they do a kind of lie using that bias. And when they kind of lie, if they don't like you, they'll give it. They'll look at something with the most malicious way humanly possible. If they do like you, they will ignore anything you do, right? That's basically what so I've been red pilled this for years and years and years, because this is how they've been treating Israel, right? Anytime there's any possibility of saying Israel is evil dictators, they're horrible racists. Like, I'll give you an example. Recently in The Guardian, I read an article, which was a mistake reading The Guardian. I read an article saying how terrible and racist Israel was because they were giving the vaccine out. Well, by the way, the vaccine in Israel is going out at record speed. They think by mid-March we're going to be mostly vaccinated. I got my second jab coming up on Thursday, although my daughter now is in isolation because she works in the army. She works in a bit of the army, the Israeli army, that deals with the call center for people with the pandemic, with the disease, and to make sure they go into isolation. And now she's in isolation. There's somebody in a regiment that's got it, and she's in isolation right now. Unfortunately, in my house. So you may not like it that your teenager is stuck upstairs, living growing underneath the duvet, and being completely useless. My teenager's up there, mandated by both the government and the army to sit under a duvet and do nothing. So that's how the world changes. Fine, that's really it. So what do you do? You got to avoid. No, you're already there. So so there's this thing. The vaccine's going out really, really quickly. I think it's because we're paying double. Like the vaccine was cost like $15 a shot. Now it's but I think Israel paid like $30, so everybody can have it right away. Which good for whoever decided that. Thank you. But the Palestinian Authority have rejected it because at least at the time of the writing article, because they're waiting for the Russian vaccine. They don't trust that funky Jewy vaccine from Pfizer. No. So anyway, so the Guardian wrote an article saying that Israel was a horrible racist oppressor because they were withholding the vaccine from the Palestinians, which is just nonsense. I'm afraid. But that I've been red pilled for that for years. Now I think the rest of the world, well, half of the rest of the world has been red pilled for that. I think with the elections in America over the last 5 years, I think with the Brexit election in Brexit vote in England, the media has been doing the same thing, but instead of throwing a teeny tiny clump of people who happen to know what's going on in Israel and what's about Israel, now it's to half the freaking world, right? So it's pretty apparent. It's pretty apparent. No one can really deny it. So saying to avoid liberal groupthink, you should have been there 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago would be the time to say this. By the way, and the time to have a black person play Doctor Who was, I would say, 1987. 1985, 87. Instead of Colin Baker, I think that would have done the show a lot of freaking good. I mean, not just, I was going to grab that random black person off the street and make him be Doctor Who. No, because I think in that time, in the culture, I think it would have actually said something and done something. And you probably would have got a really high quality actor as well, because it will be breaking a watershed, and one that I'm very happy to be broken. But that's the thing. I consider myself a reasonably, listen, I'm a bit of a Bible thumper, but I'm reasonably centrist liberal, right? And now I am like a fascist for this group, because I don't fit into the groupthink, the liberal groupthink that is the BBC. So let's see what he has to say. He's just noticed, like 5 years too late, just noticed. The BBC must combat accusations of metropolitan groupthink and serve every license fee payer. Well, I think you're doing that because I think all the license fee payers that you're not serving have said goodbye. Listen, Top Gear is gone. Doctor Who's awful. EastEnders, nobody watches. What's the worst? I'm going to pay my license fee for the Great Bake Off? Shut up! What the hell? I'm sorry. The license fees go in because they've lost support of the nation, and that's, again, breaks my heart. I think that I've always thought, right up until the last few years, BBC was such an incredibly important cornerstone to British culture. Sadly, they're not fit for purpose anymore, in my estimation. So Richard Sharp told MPs that the corporation must ensure diversity of political thought within its ranks. Too late. They're not interested. This is way too little way. If the BP doesn't mean anything to someone in Sunderland, then it's failing. It's failing. It is failing. He singled out Rokill, the BBC One drama about the corrupt Tory minister. Oh, what a shock! It's about a corrupt Tory minister. You know, I recently watched the Doctor Who festive special. Heaven forfend, it should be a Christmas special. And really, how hard would it have been to put some bloody Christmas trees in that, right? Have it as a Christmas episode. It would have really actually been quite good if you'd done that. But you know, it's it is failing. It's absolutely failing. I think Doctor Who did better than just about anything else over the holiday period. But anyway, so Chris Chibnall has said we got to make it relevant. We got to make it so relevant to the age. Okay, I understand. But for him, relevant means I'm going to ignore bad things that are being done by people I like, and I'm going to hyper focus on bad things that people I don't like, and even twist reality and make it much more obvious. That I kind of. So in that one we had a dubious seemed to be Tory politician, and it's not like, if you want to pull from today's headlines, you don't have a dubious left-wing politician in the form of the former leader of the Labour Party in England that I think brought the party into more disrepute than has ever been before. Yeah, you could have lampooned him a bit. No. Same with Tory. So I think some of a left-wing program that could unduly influence viewers' opinion. It's not that's the intention. It's so painfully transparent. It's the intention. You know, I have to tell you, I used to work at Yad Vashem, the Israeli Holocaust Museum. It is very. By the way, if you ever gone to Israel, I mean, it's a bit of a bummer. It's not your most fun excursion, but it's worth going. But I saw all these like German propaganda films from before the Second World War, specifically ones trying to make euthanasia against handicapped people socially acceptable, and it's exactly the same thing, and it's just as repugnant. It's just as repugnant having Doctor Who spout Greta Thunberg's nonsense as it was a sad story about somebody who is mentally disabled and a drain on society, so we have to kill them. I find them both equally repugnant because they're very, and for me anyway, very transparently trying to influence opinion horribly. But Mr. Sharp asserted that, with the exception of question like the BBC's Brexit coverage had been incredibly balanced. Yes, we had these people who hated it beyond any recognition, and these people who hated it even more. That's not. I don't know. Listen, it didn't seem like Brexit got a fair shake in the media, right? And that's as an impartial observer. I didn't look. I don't even live in England. I don't have any skin in the game at all. Oh yeah, my only real thought on it is everybody who said it's the end of the world I think is normally wrong about everything, and everybody who said it's the greatest thing ever, I kind of agree with normally about. They seem to make sense. That doesn't mean this is a good idea. I don't know. Okay, I'm a schmuck in my basement screaming at a camera. I don't know anything. I'm just telling you what I think. Incredibly balanced. His first comments since being named as the government pick as chairman. Mr. Sharp disappointed BBC critics by backing the licence fee and opposing decriminalisation. Well, I'm glad to hear you're on our side then, mate. And how many more people are you hemorrhaging this week? Mr. Sharp, former banker who until recently was acting as an unpaid advisor to Rishi Sunak, that said that the 157.70 fee represented terrific value. It would do if everything the BBC did wasn't awful. Like if you made TV shows that didn't lecture me relentlessly, non-stop, it would be. But you don't. You don't. So it's terrible value. And I understand you put out a lot of content. If all that kind 0 plus 0 equals 0, baby. That's basically it. If you're putting out tons of content and it's all garbage, which I think a lot of the country does tend to think, then people aren't so on board, right? People aren't so on board for paying £157.70 a year. He reserved his strongest criticism for the management culture that had allowed gender pay inequalities to go unchecked for that's the other thing, the bloody hypocrisy, but at least other hypocrisy. So as far as I understand, Jodie Whittaker, who currently plays Doctor Who, is paid the same amount as Peter Capaldi, the one before, and probably Matt Smith and David Tennant. It's not like she's getting the same traction as any of those people, is it? It's not. But that would be sexist. However, to have like this very, very obvious pay gap coming from an organisation that wags its finger at the unwashed masses, calling them sexist and racist all the time, it's a little bit rich. It's a little bit rich for most people. Clearly, some of the problems it had recently. Clearly, some of the problems it has had recently are rather terrible, and they reflect the culture that needs to be rebuilt. So everybody who cherishes the BBC, not many of you left anymore, and works at the BBC, quite a lot of you left, feels proud and happy to work. I don't care if you feel proud or happy. I want you to make programming for everybody. Remember how Doctor Who used to be that show that we could all sit down and get together about, and I had this guy who was commenting on one of my other videos the other week. And listen, I do have my opinions about what happened or what is happening in the United States right now, and I think it's kind of tragic, and I think they're on a death spiral to a terrible location. But anyway, there's somebody else who are diametrically opposed to me, and we were having a bit of a Barney, backwards and forwards through the comments, right? Saying, blah, blah, blah. But look, at the end, but by the end of it, I think he heard me, right? I think he heard me because of Doctor Who. Listen, look. I don't know what happened. I don't know who's right. I do not know who's wrong. I know this is a very dangerous situation. It's a very dangerous situation. And I just hope you're going to be okay. I hope you're going to be okay. I hope everyone's going to be okay. I hope cooler heads prevail. And I really, genuinely do. I've never wanted to be wrong about something quite as palpably as I am now, right? I really want to. And because he could see we're both Doctor Who fans, right? We were able to connect. And we're able to connect across something that's probably going to cause a civil freaking war within the, a world power, right? That's the power of Doctor Who, right? We were able to connect, right? And that's what Doctor Who used to do before it turned into this obnoxious platform that says quite clearly, we hate you if you're on the other side of the cultural war, if you are part of this, if you're not with us. And it's just disgusting. I think it's disgusting. So I don't care how proud you feel. Mr. Sharp appeared in a pre-appointment hearing today before Digital Culture, Media and Sport Select Committee. Oh, that'll do the trick. Asked if BBC was too woke. Mr. Sharp replied, okay, if the answer isn't yes, of course they are. Have you looked at them recently? He's lying. I think the issue is there groupthink? No. Are you too woke? Yes, there is groupthink, and the groupthink is you're too woke. The accusation you spoke about is centered around a view that there is a liberal metropolitan view governing editorial decisions. There is, isn't there? How are you saying there isn't that? Right? These ways to combat is have a diverse group of people involved in making those decisions. Really. Even a commercial company like Big Finish make audio drama based on Doctor Who and other BBC properties. There is very, 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 and that's a commercial company that has to make a product that will appeal to the entire fan base. And I think they've had a few missteps in the past year, but mostly that I think they're doing their best. But there is zero diversity within of thought within the entertainment industry, right? Because anybody who doesn't agree with the group thing is blackballed. I mean, that's the Comicsgate. Comicsgate was created from that. Comicsgate is where, for some reason, comic books was always like the first thing, the first harbinger of doom in culture. So comic books, they imploded, but before they imploded, they blackballed everybody from the industry who didn't share their political views, right? And because of that, as a reaction, something called Comicsgate was started. It's been pretty darn successful. Hats off to them. Again, hope to join them in the next week or so. But to say that I think it's a liberal bias. No, for goodness sake, there is no diversity of thought behind in the entertainment industry, and I think that's as much as people are clamoring to have diversity in front of the camera, which to me looks like tokenism. I think there should be genuine diversity behind the camera, and I think but it's not going to happen because the people in charge are are part of this liberal group thing. But in terms of breadth of coverage, I think it was incredible. Well, thank you. Was it asked if you believe BBC was guilty of Brexit bias? Mr. Sharp said, no, actually I don't. Well, okay. Most people who voted Brexit do, right? I think that, although I have to tell you, okay, I'm going to speak in defense of the BBC right now. Most Jews think the BBC is incredibly anti-Semitic and biased against Israel. Most, I would say Arabs, I don't want to say Muslims, but Arabs, think the BBC is incredibly biased and pro-Israel. So, it could be that going on as well, right? So, I like to be fair, okay? I like to try and be fair. But on the breadth of cover, I think it was incredibly bad. Listen, I didn't do a study of it. It didn't feel that way to me. Impartiality is clearly the biggest issue for BBC. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Confirmation bias in terms of rational thinking and emotion. Yeah. That's the world we live in right now. The BBC, certainly to my dissatisfaction, has adopted a ad hominem defense. We are the BBC, therefore we're impartial. Yeah. Yeah. Just because an authority does something doesn't mean it's right. And I'm talking about any authority because I don't trust any of them anymore. Right? That's really where we are. If we choose to ask themselves tough question on impartiality, they're never going to do that because they're not strong enough to do that. It shouldn't be instinctively defensive, but it is. It should be somebody intelligent has accused us of being impartial, but no, they don't. They say if you're accusing you of being impartial, you must be a moron, right? You must be a yokel. So this goes. How much longer does this go on for? No, it is. I'm not in favour. He described the license fee as the least worst option. Not really, because people are just so tired of paying to be lectured at. I'm not in favour of decriminalisation. Oh, really? What a shock! How much are you being paid there, Mr. Sharp? Okay, fine. I'm going to take that back. It said in the paragraph over here, Mr. Sharp confirmed that he donated his £400,000 salary. What? He gets paid £400,000 donated £400 to the Conservative Party the last 20 years. Well, that sounds a bit... But listen, they're okay with it going the other way, but isn't it? People are never okay. Fine, so let's juxtapose that with the ground zero of, the best example of why people hate the BBC. Doctor Who. Jodie Whittaker's a fine actor. Pity a Doctor Who's so forgettable. Yeah, and okay, this is in, the Article magazine. It's a free online publication. Go and check it out. They're asking for donations. I would recommend, if you like it, pay for it, that's what I think. How will you be remembered? This is a question that no doubt has passed through the minds of everybody at some point. Me, a dirty rabbi. For many people, the simple act of just being remembered is enough. Those who deemed oh God, are you going to get to the point? Let's see. Let's go through the first paragraph. Then we're going to start skimming because you're dragging it out a bit now, Mr. Article. Those who deem influential have to get to leave a legacy. But what is a legacy? Great Athenian statesman Perec. Okay, now you're just trying to show off you're smart. You're not. You know stuff. That doesn't make you smart. Well, what you leave behind is not engraved. Not engraved in stone monuments, but is woven into the lives of others. And God. It's woven into the cultural fabric. This can be applied to a small handful of actors who have been lucky enough to play the role in the cult BBC science fiction show Doctor Who. Okay, so it goes into lots of different people played it. So in 2017, it was announced Jodie Whittaker was to become the show's 13th Doctor. And if you're new to my channel, I was on board for it. I was totally on board for it. There's this fantasy that people who are, again, on the other side of the cultural aisle, believe that we were all like, I'm gonna hate it. No, I was on board to like it. He made garbage. What do you want me to do? It's not my fault you made garbage. Maybe it was. Maybe I influenced you somehow. Maybe I used my evil mental telepathy to make you make good. They'll go like, I'm going to make good Doctor Who. And I went, ooh, I'm going to make you make bad. And they went, ooh, maybe we'll make bad Doctor Who instead. Ooh, you can wreck planets so you can save them. Yeah, that went down well. I don't care where I play. My argument has less to do with chromosomes and more about merit. Yeah, that's an argument they don't like, right? That's an argument they don't like because something I found about people on the in the groupthink bubble. Something I've certainly found about them is they don't like meritocracies at all. They like people to succeed based on their identity rather than their merit. And if somebody is of a protected identity, somebody's of a protected class, and you say you don't like it, they then swarm on you and call you a bigot and a racist. It's not really flying anymore because everybody's seen what garbage this is. I've seen Whittaker and Broadchurch and was very impressed with her acting. Listen, I didn't think she'll be terrible, but she's been awful in the role. She played the role with conviction and sincerity. Here's Whittaker's problem. She can play, and I think every actor's problem. Every actor can play play any role that they believe in, right? And I think she could believe in being a contemporary grieving mother, right? Something that she could believe in. I don't think she can believe in being Doctor Who. I think she thinks it's a silly children's show. When she got Doctor Who in Series 11, the rumour has he's set to leave after Series 12. Too much fan adulation. And it's that news that opened the flood doors for people to finally be able to criticise Doctor Who. Which they haven't been able to for these last two, frankly, awful years. 2 seasons, not years, 3 years. The show has entertained and enthralled millions of young adults for over half a century, and old gits like me. The year I was born, when Tom Baker played the Fourth Doctor, the show recorded its largest audience, 16 million. It got 16 million because okay. This was before we had lots of channels in England. There were I think 3 channels at the time. One minority channel that was off BBC Two, that was off the air half of the day, and 2 mainstream channels. One of those mainstream channels was off the air, right? Because they were on strike, leaving the only thing on, literally at that time, was Doctor Bloody Who. And listen, it was a good story. It is Tom Baker. I think Lala Ward, but that's why I did well. Shows received its 16 million viewers. Step into the TARDIS and come forward 40 years. By the end of season 12, the show has received its lowest. Listen, it's done terribly. It's done terribly in the ratings. That is a fact. Comparing those two things is not fair. I mean, you've got to look at the decline over a number of years. Capaldi, who I loved as a Doctor, I think that first season really hurt him because he played the Doctor very aloof, and it wasn't a great season. I think that season really hurt him, and that started a nosedive that went all the way down to his last season, season 10, which is still higher rated. When we got the ratings that low, people were like, "This is it. This is the worst ever." So now they're into a position where they're getting ratings roughly in the same area that it was when it was cancelled in 89. And actually, the year it was cancelled in 89, the ratings had started to go up again. Because, honestly, I'm a big believer in quality sells. You can always tell if something is good or bad, depending on if more people want to watch it or not. I've hated this current era of Doctor Who. I think, Revolution of Daleks is a festive special. Best episode they've done, and the one that most looked like Doctor Who, right? And actually had a couple of good moments in it. It also had John Barrymore, but I think the reason that it arrested its decline is because it was better. It's that simple. You do something better, it gets better received. I mean, granted, people were locked in their homes at the time, and they had to do something. But still, I think it's. Listen, it's just not hasn't been very good, which is why the ratings have been so bad. It would be naive and wrong to lay the blame for the show's declining audience entirely on Whittaker. Yeah, I'm not going to blame. It's not entirely on Whittaker. Her performance has been shockingly awful, right? Again, no authenticity in the performance, in my opinion. No authenticity in the performance, and it shows. But the scripts, that's the word. It's going to be a hard act to follow for, the previous incarnation, incarnation of Doctor Peter Capaldi. Not true. That again, I think people. I would like to see Capaldi have gone for another 2 years, right? I like to see. But not under Chris Chibnall. At all. But I would like to see him go for it, although he probably could have reined Chris Chibnall in. Let's see Capaldi go for another go. But still, I think if it wasn't such painful garbage, it wouldn't have, the ratings wouldn't have fallen off a cliff. He took but the show has suffered from a terrible script since Chris Chibnall became the show's main writer. Yes, and again, this was verboten like 2 or 3 weeks ago before Jodie Whittaker was rumored to leave. This was verboten to say, right? It's amazing how quickly your protected status falls away in like the same instant that you're no longer there. Moffat appeared to be genuinely passionate about writing. As such, he has the ability to tell good stories. I agree completely. I think some of them were a little convoluted. I think they were over-convoluted for their own good. I think his attention was totally taken by that last season of Sherlock. By the way, if you remember, I think it was the last episode of Sherlock, when Sherlock's sister is on this island prison. That's a Doctor Who story, isn't it? I mean, listen, Missy is would be the woman in prison who has secretly taken it over and trapped the Doctor and his companion and whoever, Kate Lethbridge Stewart, whatever. If you rewatch that as an episode of Doctor Who, you would go, oh man, that would have been fantastic. But sadly, I think his attention was taken by Sherlock. Because it was much more successful. Tell you the truth. But yeah, listen. I mean, he loved writing, and you can tell he's like Russell T Davies loves writing because they can't stop bloody writing. Like Russell T Davies, production notes, that column in Doctor Who magazine, he would put up tons and tons and tons of stuff. And that's what you do when you love something. And I just don't think Christian likes it at all. But I don't think he'll move on either because he's done such a terrible job. It's gonna the width of failure is going to hang around the neck of his career forever. Chibnall seems more concerned to shoehorn in social justice issues and saturate every episode with a political message. Again, this is a mainstream publication. This is not. I hate Doctor. I hate all the woke. No, this is a mainstream publication saying you made garbage. Speaking to Vulture magazine, Whittaker said that Chibnall was convinced he wanted her for the role, as the two had worked together. Yeah, me too. And he really wanted what's her name? Just coming off the Crown, Olivia Colman, and she said no, quite wisely. So he said, who else do I know who's a woman? Jodie Whittaker. There you go. It could have been. And I'm thinking the broadcast, Broadchurch cast. There's a lot of better choices than Jodie Whittaker. I would have liked to have seen, who was it? The woman who played the unscrupulous journalist. I think she's from Line of Duty. Oh, I said Duty. Line of Duty and This Is England. Great actress, really great. I would like to see her. I think she could have done something really interesting. Whittaker said that Chibnall was convinced, blah blah blah. There she played the role as a grieving mother very well, but when it comes to Doctor Who, things seem to have changed. When some actors' research role, she didn't say, "I've seen a few episodes, but I hadn't followed a particular Doctor." Yeah, because you didn't like it, you sold the magazine. What Chris wanted to do, particularly in the cast and the story, is reflect. Well, we live in today, exactly. Again, and in the world you live in today, only one side of the cultural aisle needs to be have their finger wagged at, right? The other side, completely blameless, and that's why the people have left the BBC. Very often, we're only seeing stories told through the white male gaze. Okay, listen, if that's how you feel Doctor Who has been, which I disagree with you, listen, again, in the 70s, 80s, yes, there was the Screaming Companions. I think that was pretty much redressed and rebalanced by Russell T Davies in 2005, and the Companion became really sad. I mean, I don't follow the Bechdel test because I think it's nonsense. But I think Rose did pass the Bechdel test, didn't she? I mean, she's into, like, basically every character. Well, every companion was like a three-dimensional character. But if that's what you think, I think, why not do another series, like a spin-off series, where you could centered around a female Time Lord, and then you could have two productions going simultaneously, and sell twice as much. You could have done very well with that, but no. This may explain the progressive stance that came to the narrative Series 11. Yeah, but at least Series 11 wasn't quite as terrible as Season 12. Instead of the usual light-hearted subject matter that the Daleks dealt and bizarre alien race, we got 1940s colonial India, the segregated state of Alabama in 1950s America, which Americans just hate that episode. Ackles in the UK, we had an Earthsat's president of the United States, an evil capitalist hell-bent on destroying them. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not like you were overly subtle. But anyway, politics aside, what about the acting? Previous iteration of the character put their own idiosyncrasies in this role. Whittaker's version comes across an even more hyperactive Tennant, David Tennant, but Tennant's eccentricity was appealing, while Whittaker is the imitation of Abigail. Yeah, any criticism fans is generally met with the usual trite, worn-out dulge of isms and phobias. So this is what happens. This is what happens when you call people who aren't racists, right? When you call people who aren't bigots. They don't like it. They don't like it, and people get articles like this saying you're talking absolute nonsense, right? That's what goes on. If you don't like it, you and your bigotry are the problem, not us. Well, no, it's actually you. That's the problem. Although I'm sure what most Whovians just want is a mild-mannered interface escape and not political lecture. Could be. Why don't you give that a try? See how that goes down. The once timeless show has become mired in a social cultural angst and identity politics. The combination of bad writing, political pandering, again, this is mainstream thought now, and outright refusal to accept any criticism that has meant a hemorrhaging of the audience that or left a once respected show bereft of credibility. Oh, what a good line. Yeah, it's completely, and I think that's why they look to insert Jodie Whittaker's Doctor into everything, because they think by attaching her to Tom Baker, it gives her credibility. No, it saps away credibility from whoever she's attached to. The combination about the credibility. In the end, the real losers are the fans of all ages. Yeah, it's true. If an actor's legacy is defined by their best work, then Whittaker's will be remembered by as Beth Latimer and Broadchurch. If not, then maybe like the rest of us, she'll be remembered. She will not be remembered. After all, 13 is an unlucky number. Regenerations are a salient part of Doctor Who. Perhaps Lawrence Fox should audition. He might be available. That's a bit of a bold statement. I think that's a bit of a inflammatory statement. But there you go. Yeah, I'm going to keep on doing these videos because this is just a tsunami now. When you keep a lid on people's voices for a long time, and you finally take it off, they scream a lot. So there you go. British public hate the BBC because of Doctor Who. Because of Doctor Who. I think it's a reasonably fair statement. My name is Sheila Becken, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.